Hello. Right, today we're going through my reflective journal. The reason because on my website I'm making for college. A good aspect you need to think about while creating one is a thing called user experience honeycomb. I believe that's what it's called. And they include such things as like accountable, informative, accessible. There's like 7 of them, I think. I can't remember the exact words, but yeah, so I thought accessible for people who don't like reading. I feel like it would be more accessible. So if I just do it in voice form, maybe that would be better. So yeah. So this is my reflective journal of the 14th of September 2020. The persistence of vision was the focus today. And an introduction to flipbooks and the premise of how they work. The definition is still images being presented one after the other in quick succession, which causes your eyes to think that the pictures are moving. Throughout the lesson, we spoke briefly about how this technique is used in modern motion picture and animation. I didn't realise the science behind how the brain perceived this image, because you see flipbooks everywhere, but it's not until you research them you realise the effect they can have. Whilst my teacher was teaching, he mentioned various points of research that would expand my knowledge of the subject, which I took note of in order to research once the lesson has concluded. This included a man named Edward Maybridge, and the camera obscura / pinhole, which is a type of camera which I don't know yet how to explain. We studied 3 different videos regarding flipbooks and the premise of persistence of vision, made personal notes for a bit and discussed with the class our findings and how the video was effective. This helped because certain information my peers mentioned I didn't realise and understand how effective set parts in the video was at conveying the information. I was able to incorporate the ideas of my peers into my work, which assisted in expanding my knowledge of the subject. Video 1 was a black and white clip that presented itself like a slideshow, explaining the basic points of persistence of vision and how person brains react to this effect. It was clear that it was an older video, not just because of the black and white element, but the voiceover spoke differently from people of modern times, being similar to an old 1940s radio voice. I personally found this video more enjoyable and easier to understand. I feel like this is because it was short and sweet, got straight to the point and explained everything it needed to without pointless information. The use of pictures that worked sort of like a diagram helped my understanding by being able to visualise what was being said. Video 2 I found confusing and had me watching it multiple times until I fully understood what they were explaining. However, I did like the experiment that they were using to convey the information by having 3 lights in a ball constantly turning on and off. When this is done, it creates the illusion of one colour, whereas when you spin the ball in the circle you can clearly see each individual colour. This is because the lights are switching colours at different points in space, which causes the eye to not hold the image as it switches to each colour. I find this quite interesting because I often see this technique in a few objects, but never realised the whole premise of it, making me curious about how I could apply this effect in a future project. Video 3 showed the process of a flipbook and how multiple still images together, this button worked as a moving image. It was presented as a TV show, with a man explaining the persistence of vision and flip books to a child. This felt more rewarding to watch in a way, because it was more along the lines of what I will be focusing on during the course. There isn't much to talk about on this final video, due to how each video is similar, having each of the 3 videos convey pretty much the same information. The only difference being the way they are presented, which was great, because it provided multiple different ways to understand the lesson. For example, I struggled with understanding what was being taught on the second lesson. However, with the 2 others it helped, and I like to think I have a good understanding of persistence of vision.